Hi, my name is Emily and I am here on behalf of Newark and Sherwood CVS. Welcome to our first bite-sized digital training session. So we're running these sessions to help with digital enablement and trying to get people online and digitally connected, removing some of that intimidation type thing so that people can be connected and can access things that they might not have access with the current quarantine and lockdowns that we're in. So today we're going to look at email and accessing the internet. So I'm going to jump straight into it, but today will be a 20-minute session, 10 minutes to answer questions and that sort of thing at the end. Make sure you put them in the Q&A panel just at the bottom. So accessing the internet. There are a few different browsers you can go with, and I'll cover this briefly because I'm sure people have a general knowledge of this. If you don't, you can feel free to email me afterwards, and there's definitely resources that we can get out to you. But basically, from left to right here, we have Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Internet Explorer. These are the most common internet browsers that you'll come across. I personally use Google Chrome, I quite like it, but do whatever works best for you. And definitely if you've used one before, stick with it. There's no need to change, they're all very similar. So the internet offers us many important opportunities to keep in touch with friends and family, find helpful information, use online banking, and shop from the comfort of your own home, which is very important now that we are in lockdown. This means that there is a large quantity of information and it can be an intimidating platform, but the opportunities for communication and learning are endless and therefore far outweigh any of the intimidating aspects of getting online and using online platforms. Your internet browser is a software application that lets you visit web pages on the internet, and we've been through our popular browsers. It says Google Chrome is the most widely used browser in the world and it's considered one of the fastest and most secure. Like I said, it's the one that I use. I recommend it, but if you're comfortable on a browser, don't switch. There's very minimal differences. So the easiest way to get to your internet browser is to go to the file section of any computer, and you can, if it's a Windows, you can click the little Windows icon and you can type in what you want to open. And so I would type in Google Chrome. Google Chrome will pop up and that is what I'd click. To open your web browser, go to the bottom left of your screen. This is the stuff I've just been through, so we'll move on from that. But again, as I said, if like searching online is something you struggle with, feel free to contact me. There's tons of stuff. There's no need to be intimidated, but I'm sure lots of you, as you're on Zoom right now, have a general knowledge, and we're more looking at how to enable groups and enable groups using online facilities. So I'll breeze past this. Once you have opened your internet browser, you can type into the top website URL text box and type in what you're looking for. So that is just an image of that. All these words are what I'm saying, so I have them all written down. I'm going to skip past them, so don't worry if I'm clicking on words. But this is like when the Google homepage appears. If you're using Google, you can type in what you wish to search in the search bar. So you have the choice of the URL bar at the top or the main Google search bar in the middle of the page. Google keeps quite a simple layout to help you easily navigate, so it's not too confusing of a website. Anyway, once you click on the search bar, there'll be some suggested topics. If any of these interest you, you can click on it, but I'm guessing that you're searching for something specific. Maybe you're not, maybe you just want some general news. But once you start typing into the search box, ideas or search ideas, that type of thing, are going to start popping up. If none of them are what you're looking for, carry on typing, type the whole thing in and press enter. But sometimes it's easier and quicker to have a little scan of what the recommended topics are as you're typing, to see if someone's already typed out the answer, especially if it's quite a long question or something like that. It's just a small tip that will help you use the internet in a much quicker format. So as you can see, I've typed in Nook and Sherwood CVS and it's come up with our website. This is the typical interface that you'll deal with once you've searched something. And to access a website, all you need to do is click on the title and it will turn purple once you've clicked on it, and it will be blue if it's a website you haven't visited before. So there's a tiny bit of color coding, super simple, but like the arrow shows here, I've just clicked on the title. This will then take you to the Newark and Sherwood CVS website. Another good and like really useful tool to use is the forwards and backwards arrows, which will take you, it's basically an undo and redo sort of thing. So if you go back off of a website to your list of searches, you can go back onto the website you were on. So just undo and redo. And all the text, you know, I mentioned that the text isn't going to be included. All the text that I'm skipping over when I'm zooming through this presentation, because I wanted for it to be detailed, but not for me to babble on. It is in PDF form, so you can read the text. That's pretty much what it's there for, but because I'm talking through it, we don't really need to sit and read it as well. So the plus button is how to add a tab, a new tab. So say you went onto a news article, very interesting, you don't want to close down the news article, you find a piece of information and you want to do a bit more research on it, you can press the plus tab and start a new search. So you can have multiple Google searches up at once, and to flick in between them, it's just like a filing system, and that's what they've designed it as well, to look like a filing system. If you want to flick back and forwards between the two different tabs, you just click directly on the tab, and each tab will have an icon for the website, maybe depending on if the website has an icon. So you can see there's a little G for Google, so you know it's a Google search. And then it'll have sort of a title or something related to the content that it is. So super simple and great for keeping more than one search open at a time. So I'll scan this for our information. The internet is an amazing place with a wealth of information and opportunities, but you should also be aware of some of the potential dangers that you can run into. When using social media and online platforms, do not divulge personal details that could compromise you, your professionalism, or your privacy. So this is regarding maybe if you were to like review an item or use a social media platform which is about sharing yourself and your own thoughts, ideas, what you're up to on social media. Just remember that anybody can view it, or it could be compromised. It probably won't be, but it could be. So just keep sensitive information, especially banking sort of stuff, off of social media and online platforms. This doesn't mean checking out on a website in terms of like online shopping, because they are secure as they're designed to be, and you will be compensated as long as it's not sort of a scam website. So making sure websites are official. This is something we'll cover in future webinars. I won't spend too much time on it. But in terms of social media, stay professional. There's no need to overshare. The people in your life that you know personally and that you love, you can share that sort of information in person. There's no need to be putting it out to everyone, because that is what the internet is. It is every single person. So make sure you have enabled privacy settings. This is something you can do on your social media, such as Facebook, or you could do on internet browsers like Google. You keep your privacy settings on, and it means that it's protecting your information as best you could. So on Facebook, if you have a private account, it means that only people you're friends with could see it. And what I was saying before, that the information could be compromised, but generally, only your friends and only people you accept are going to see your information. It's a great way to maintain your privacy online. So passwords are also a large part of maintaining security on the internet. Keep your passwords secure by using 3 random words mixed in with a number of symbols. For example, I've put one down just here, and it's 3, capital R, red house, exclamation mark, pug, 27. A real random mix of uppercase, lowercase, numbers and symbols, and often passwords are more than 8 characters. So if you could just make yourself a few random stuff. Try not to use information about yourself, no kids' birthdays, no middle names, that sort of thing, because it's information that if you have an online presence, people might be able to figure out, that type of thing. So if you just try and keep them super random, unrelated to you and your personal life, it'll be much better for security and the possible I was going to say breaking, it's possible security breach. Also, last top tip, don't assume that public Wi-Fi hotspots, so Wi-Fi in public places, like cafes or hotels, are secure. Don't use them to do anything confidential, like making a payment or emailing somebody something that's supposed to be secure. Criminals can intercept these transactions and potentially steal your information. Just because your Wi-Fi at home is a secure network, public Wi-Fi is something that lots of people have access to, and they can't access everything on your screen. It's not easy like that, but it is more vulnerable to people that might want to intercept transactions and stuff like that. So it's just something to be aware of. It's all about caution. So now we'll move on to email. And I did email all of you the link to this, but as I'm aware, we're sharing this with our community groups and people that might not have access to email or might not have much experience on email. So first, I just wanted to say, email is so useful in online presence, and it's often required to make a lot of profiles. It's an important and useful communication tool as one of the most commonly used forms of messaging, including inside the workspace and also in people's personal lives. So it's definitely something worth learning because it's very, very good for connecting, and it is also one of the most secure messaging platforms. So common email providers, I was going to say users, but that's not quite the right word. The most common email providers are Outlook, which also known as Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo, and there's many, many others. You can use like iCloud, or often if you sign up with BT Internet, you can have a BT email address, that type of thing. So there's many, and none are better than the others. I personally use Outlook, and the rest of this presentation will show you Outlook, but the functions are very, very similar. So it's no need to worry if you have, say, a Gmail or a BT Internet login. So first of all, you'll need to sign up. I think pretty self-explanatory, but you'll need to sign up with a bit of personal information and create your own custom email address. So you'll need to share some small personal details, such as choosing a password and entering other information like your date of birth and your name. If you already have an email, you can simply sign into your account. One thing here is that you can save contacts. So once you've created your email, something that you'll want to do is find friends or add people to your user list that you can then email. So it's worth texting a few people and asking for their email address. So you can start off emailing people or signing up to things online, such as maybe like an account or a Facebook account, and you'll have Facebook email you asking you to confirm your authenticity or confirm your email address, that type of thing. And that's how you'll get started, because without any contact or without signing up to anything, your inbox in your email is going to be pretty bare. But it's easy to get started. So a useful thing to do is to gather the email addresses of people you know and put them in a contact list. This is going to make it really easy for if you're drafting an email to just scroll through your contacts and select who you want, rather than trying to remember every single person's email address off the top of your head. It's not quite as easy as you might think. Email addresses are not very memorable because people tend to have their names, a variation of their names. So you can save that and it just makes it easier. Another good function of email is to use the search box at the top. So say if I'm looking for something specific, I'm doing some work and I need to find a presentation that somebody sent to me, I could type in February presentation 15th, and anything that has those words in my email inbox will come up and I can click that email. It's just a really good tip to be able to find, say someone's emailed you about a birthday and you can type in Carrie's birthday party, that sort of thing. So to make your own email, I'll go through this quickly. There will be a new mail or draft email or even just a plus sign sometimes, and you click that and it should open up a big text box. So it would look something like this in Outlook, and there will be a from, which is your email address, to, so you can select from your contacts if you save them as contact, or just manually type in the email address, and a subject. Subjects are very important in setting the tone for what the email is about, letting people know what you're putting in the email, and it will help them just prioritize their emails, that sort of thing. So we've just been through the two. You can type it in manually. CCing, this is something worth going through. In the text bar below, you also have the option to indirectly copy people into an email. This means that the email will show up in their inbox, but as the email was sent indirectly, it will know that the email was sent to keep them in the loop or to inform them on whatever you're doing. It's a useful tool when communicating professionally, as you can make sure people stay informed of the correspondence. So say I was in like a team project and I was sending a question to a fellow coworker about what we were doing or the progress of our product, I could CC in maybe the manager and the other people on the team so that they were aware of what I was asking without me asking them directly and them being confused because the question wasn't directed at them. It's more about keeping people in the conversation, so that's very useful. You can also do that by blind copying people in, so you can CC people in but have it invisible. So say maybe there was something going on and people need to be informed but they don't want to be shown on the CC list, because you'll be able to see if people are CC'd in. You can blind copy them in, which means nobody can see it. So below that, we went through the subject. And then again, in Outlook, it's fairly simple because it is written, like the direction is written. There is reply all, which is replying to everybody who the email was sent to, forward, which means you can send the email on to another person, delete, archive, or mark with a flag, which is good for prioritizing and just keeping a hold of different emails. But just always have a little browse around your email inbox and see what options you have available to you when you're sort of interacting with email. Because there's lots of stuff you can do with emails, but there's some stuff that is just a bit more important. So like I said, the forward, you can send a message on to somebody, like if somebody was to pass you a note and it was a really interesting note about the meeting that you were just in, you can send that to someone else who the information is relevant to, and it will happen the same way as sending a brand new email. So you'll click forwards and then you can type in their email address, type a little note to go along with the email, maybe just FYI, or just thought this would be of interest to you, and press send, and they will receive the email, the original email that wasn't sent to them. So quickly, I will include a little bit on inserting media or files. So within email, you can send messages, the typed messages into the box, or you can send files, pictures, and links to stuff. So files would include documents, maybe a presentation you're writing, lots of stuff like that. Pictures is the same. Only thing is you couldn't send a huge file, maybe like a whole folder of pictures, because it is a bit too big for email, but something like that you'll need to transfer. But it's definitely completely fine for just a few pictures, maybe from like a holiday or something. If you're sharing it with family and friends, it's a really nice option, and it's really, really useful to be able to send documents back and forth without having to physically give somebody something or print it off and send it to them, that type of thing. So it's a good thing to keep in mind. Like I said, you can insert the pictures, and once you click insert, it will take you to your file browser. You just select whichever document you want, and it will be put in the email. So we have just covered that. This is what it will look like. So I'd made a little example document for us, and once it's attached, it just comes up saying it's a Word document. And then honestly, type a little message, press send, and you are done. So email, again like the internet, is incredibly useful, but there are a few potential dangers to look out for, and it is important to keep your data safe. Some top tips for this is do not open links or attachments from email addresses that you don't know or recognize. There's a chance they could be unsafe or fraudulent. Not every single email is going to be like that, but it's better to operate on the internet and in email cautiously. So don't open links or attachments. If you have any worry that it might not be authentic, delete the email. And if you know the person personally, maybe contact them, text them, that sort of thing, ask if it was them. Or if it's a company, go to the company's website. I'm sure they'll have some sort of customer support or some way of checking if it was authentic. Just don't click on the link in the email. If you're unsure that the link is fraudulent, type it into the internet. That's what I just said. And don't respond to emails that you suspect of being unsafe or fraudulent. Honestly, completely ignore them and just delete them. Don't ask them who they are. Don't reply to it, because all they're going to get is that they've got somebody who's got an active email account who's replying, who's now like a little bit invested. So just make sure that no replies and no clicking of links. And if you do, there are support services that can help you. Google the company online that it said it is, call their contact us, especially if it's something like banking. Banking apps have measures in place to help you deal with scams and stuff, because obviously lots of scammers are going to target banking, where the money is, that sort of thing. So there is people that can help you, but try to operate cautiously. So now we've covered the safety. That is everything for today's webinar. I hope you found it useful. I'd really appreciate if you could leave me some feedback or let me know if this sort of content worked for you or what you're looking for in these webinars, and I can make sure that we design the rest of our course to be in line with what you're looking for. So I'm going to stop recording now, and I hope that you will have a really great day, and I'll be sending you a follow-up email with the resources, or you can get the resources downloaded from our website. So thank you, everybody.